Alright guys, I'm back with the second part of the tutorial about how to host your Discord bot for free 24/7 through Heroku. And if it does seem like this video is kind of like an extension of the last video, and it seems like the first video should have been attached to this video, that's because I actually recorded these two parts with the intent to have them be one video, and then I realized it was a little bit too long, so I ended up actually splitting it up into two videos to make it a little bit easier to navigate, with this part being mainly the Heroku actual hosting part, and the previous part being focused on the actual building the Discord bot and to be able to run locally and setting up environmental variables and that kind of thing. So that is why, as you'll see in a moment, I'm actually going to create this app in front of you, even though it's already here. But basically that explains why it's kind of going back in time. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure to leave a like. If you have any questions, if you want me to focus on something in particular, as always, leave a comment in the description below, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date. So enjoy. So now we're switching over to Heroku. If you don't already have a Heroku account, make sure to go over to Heroku.com and create an account there. I've already created an account and logged in, and now I'm on the dashboard. So once you're on the dashboard, you're going to want to go over here and click New, and then create New App. I can name this app YouTube Tutorial Discord Bot. We'll just choose the region, United States, that's fine, and then just click Create App here. So there's a lot of things to look at here. But right now, we're just going to want to focus on the Deploy tab. Fortunately, it just put us there by default. We're going to want to ignore this add this app to a pipeline part for now and go straight to the deployment method. So down here, there's a few different ways to deploy. We're going to focus on GitHub since we have a GitHub repository all set up, and we want to be able to set up automatic deploying from GitHub whenever you push to your project and whenever you update your code. So we're going to want to go over here and connect to GitHub. And once you connect to your actual GitHub account, it will show up here, and you can click on it, and then you can search your repository name. So if I just search here, you can see Coffin CW / YouTube Discord bot tutorial, and then we can connect. And once it connects, we've got our repository connected to our Heroku app. So then we can go down here, and we want to set up automatic deploys. We just want to make sure that it's deploying to the main branch, and just click enable automatic deploys. As it mentions here, only check this box if you have a CI pipeline set up. This is like for automated testing and that kind of thing. So check that box if you have a continuous integration pipeline set up. That's a little bit more advanced. We can go over that in another video if you'd like me to walk through the basics of setting up a CI pipeline with a Discord bot as well. So you can also go down here and just manually deploy. I like to just automatically deploy when pushing the main. That way, if I don't want something to deploy, I just make a branch off of my main branch and just commit to that thing and push to that thing, and then it won't actually be added to the bot until I actually merge the branch as well. So this is just the basic deploy settings you need to set up. And then after that, we want to go over to the overview just to kind of look at Heroku as a whole. So you can see there's some main parts right here. You got your latest activity, your dyno formation, your collaborative activity, and that kind of stuff as well. So then I want to hop over to resources. This is typically where you can see your dynos. We'll talk a little bit about those in a bit when we talk about making a Procfile. And then if you go over here, you see metrics. Don't worry about that. Activity, don't worry about that as well. Access, the basics. And then if we scroll on here, this is our settings. So this is important, mainly because of the config vars and the build packs. That's what we really want to focus on. And so to do that, basically the config vars right here, just focus on that first. This is basically the environment variables of Heroku. So we want to go in here and actually add in that same key and value pair that we added into our environmental variables. So we'll actually open those up right here again and pull it directly from there. So if we go on here and click edit, grab that variable name, paste it right in there, and then grab that variable value, paste it right in there, and then click add. And there you go. So now you've got your environment variable actually in Heroku by using the config vars. And then down here, build packs. So build packs are pretty complex, and we're not going to go into the very specific pieces, but basically what they allow, actually has a little description right here. We'll kind of cover that since it makes it easy. Build packs are scripts that run when your app is deployed. They're used to install dependencies for your app and configure your environment.
pretty self-explanatory. Right now, we're just going to cover the very basics. So all you need to do is add the Python build pack. So you can actually just hit add build pack, click Python, bam, and then hit save changes. And you've added the Python build pack. This basically just allows you to have a Python app in Heroku. Very basic. When you scroll down, you don't really need to touch much of this stuff. This is domains. If you want to set up like a web app, we won't go to that because you don't need it for Discord. Transfer ownership, maintenance mode, that kind of thing. So if we go over here and the next step would be to actually set up a Procfile. Sorry, I got a little off topic there for a second. Because right now, as I mentioned before, you don't actually have any dynos here because you don't have a Procfile associated with your app. So the next step is to go into your code and add a Procfile. So to add a Procfile, you basically want to click it just using VS Code. You can also do this with Sublime or any other text editor, but basically you want to add a new file. You want to call it, we want to be outside the source folder. So add a new file. I want to call it Procfile with a capital P. VS Code assigns a little picture for Heroku right there because it knows what a Procfile is. And then we're going to want to paste this in. I'm just pasting this from another Discord bot I've created. But basically just to kind of go through it, is it's a worker dyno. We're designated a worker dyno. And then to run that worker dyno from the main directory in our project, which is outside the source file, you would have to run the Python command and then source / and then our bot.py file name, which is just this bot.py file name from before. So basically what this is telling it to do is that the worker should be running our bot through this command, pretty much. So that's how you create a Procfile. You want to add it to your project and do it that way. Awesome. And one more thing we want to cover before we actually push our bot to actually being deployed, and that is setting up a requirements.txt. So requirements.txt is needed by Heroku to actually see what dependencies your project has. So for this very small project that we created, really the only dependency we have is Discord, discord.py. So to actually create this requirements.txt file, there's a few different ways you can automatically generate this file. The easiest way, and probably the most commonly used way, is by using the command, if we hop in here actually, to go into our project real quick in the command line. So now we're in our folder. And so typically people, when they want to automatically create their requirements.txt, they use pip freeze, which is commonly used for it automatically creates a requirements.txt, and it has all the libraries that you have installed on your computer for pip with pip. And that's not really ideal because you don't want your dependencies from, say, another project to apply to this project. If you say for this project, for example, we really only use the Discord library, so we really only need that library. So we don't really want all those extra dependencies from other projects that I've perhaps created in the past. So we're going to actually use pip rex, and then you can specify like the location as well after this as an argument. To install piprex, you just run it by doing pip install pip rex, and you would run this command to actually install this library. Piprex is just a library that you can install through pip. So then once you can run the piprex command just in your source, not in the source folder, but in the main folder of your project. And we'll wait a minute for it to run. And then it's outputs info successfully save requirements file in the location, and then you can see it's actually created a requirements file right here. And so it's automatically created this requirements.txt file, which shows that we have discord.py version 1.3.4 and then Discord version 1.0.1. This is just how Discord happens to designate their dependencies. But yeah, so now we got our requirements.txt file. Awesome. So we got our requirements.txt file, our Procfile, we've got our code. I think we're ready to deploy. So to do this, since we set up automatic deployment through GitHub, we can actually go straight over here and kind of going back to the version control, which I mentioned earlier in the video. we want to actually commit and push these files, because right now, so we've got all these files in our local repository, right? These aren't actually in our online GitHub repository. Like if I hit refresh, it's still these basic files that we just created when we created our repository. We don't have our bot.py file, we don't have our Procfile or anything like that, even though it's on our local computer, because we haven't actually committed and pushed these files to the remote repository, which is what you're seeing here. So to do that, we can go to GitHub Desktop, create a quick commit message, make sure this is very descriptive. So we can do add basic commands, Procfile, and requirements.txt. Commit to main, and then push origin. So now we pushed, just to show how this works once it finishes. We can actually refresh this page right here, and look at that. We got all these files now. We got all these, all this information. Awesome. So now that we've pushed to GitHub, this actually automatically triggers Heroku. If we go over here and then go to overview, you can see it's actually, actually you can see we set the config variable here as part of our activity, but now it's actually building our project right here as it's been automatically triggered by GitHub. So we got to wait for this to finish. You can click on build progress if you want to see it going. It's just installed all of our dependencies. Discord.py actually has a few other dependencies which aren't listed in the requirements.txt, which are just automatically installed with Discord.py, including stuff like WebSockets and I don't know, YARL, I guess, stuff like that. So running this, launching, released, and if we go back to overview, so we see it's now build succeeded and then been deployed. Awesome. So now we can go over here to our resources, and then we can wait for this to upload. There we go. Sorry, I was worried it wasn't working, but it took a minute for it to load. But basically, now it uploads with it's updated with our Procfile dyno that we added to our project. And so right now you can see it's off, and we want to click the Edit Dyno button, and then we want to flick this to on, and then hit confirm. Just a quick thing to note: this is all free. As mentioned in the video title, this is hosting to Heroku is completely free, up to a certain number of hours. Just to be completely transparent, I believe the certain number of hours is about 550 for the whole month. This doesn't allow you to run your Discord bot 24/7 for the entire month through Heroku for free, unless you attach your credit card to your account or your debit card. If you attach your credit card or debit card, it doesn't charge you anything, but it does increase your hours to 1,000 hours per month, and that lets you basically deploy your bots to Heroku for free. And so that's what I do to actually deploy all of my Discord bots 24/7. They're all up 24/7 with no charge to any of my accounts, any of my bank accounts, or anything like that. So you could do that if you want. If you don't want to add your credit card to Heroku because you're afraid of security issues, totally understandable. But that is how you would actually get access to running these bots 24/7 for free, as it will actually run out of hours close to, I think, like the 24th of the month if you only have those 500 hours available, which I think they do that on purpose to make you connect your credit card. But anyway, so now that we've loaded up our worker and now it's running, go over here to our overview. We can actually see it's running here, and it says on, which is pretty cool. There's also some add-ons you can do here if you wanted to add like a database or something like that. You could add it there. If you want me to actually go into a video in the future where I talk about how to actually get your Discord bot running with a database, allowing you to store some data in the database, like if you want to store stuff like total message count of each user and not have to like recalculate it every time someone runs a command and just like add to it, you can do that with a database. And I can talk a little bit about using databases with Heroku in the future if that's requested. So just to come back here, just a reminder, we're not running this locally. Our bot is not being run locally, so we can we can exit out that not being run locally. But if we go over here and open up our server, look at this, it's still online, it's actually running. So now we can actually run our !r command, and we can get that output right there, and you can see it's actually working It's running 24/7. I could turn off my computer. It's still running. Anyone could use this. I could go to sleep. Anyone can use this bot. Anyone can run the commands and anything like that. So it's a definitely really cool way to run Discord bots. It's definitely way more practical than just running a Discord bot locally on your computer all the time, because then you have to leave your computer on and that kind of thing. So so that's how you basically build a Discord bot in Python and then host it 24/7 for free on Heroku. If you have any questions, if you want me to do any follow-up videos on this topic or anything like that, definitely make sure to leave a comment. If you found this helpful, or if you just liked the video, definitely leave a like and subscribe for more updates on my channel. I upload typically gaming content, but I'd be happy to upload tutorials about programming or hosting or cloud hosting like that in the future as well, if that's requested. Thanks for watching. I'd love to do something like this soon. Leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time.